When I first got that notebook all those years ago, I knew I had to do it. There was no other way. The world had to be fixed. A purpose given to me. Somebody has to do this. I will become the god of this new world. That's right! I win!
Light Yagami. L. Kira. It's over. You've lost the game.
Light Yagami is a piece of shit, but that's something that you already knew. Light Yagami is possibly one of the most spoiled, manipulative, gaslighting, and bold main characters I've seen in an anime in a long time. Light is what I would like to call being bored from your own success. Light Yagami is one of the smartest kids in Japan, apparently. He's one of the smartest and brightest kids in his class, top of his class, passes all of his tests, does everything right. But he's been so smart for so long and had so much success that he's bored with it. Light Yagami before the Death Note was a bored child. Light Yagami is bored from having so much success. Not athletic wise or not, girl wise or anything like that. From the eyes of his school, from the eyes of himself, Light Yagami is above everybody. Light Yagami is, in his mind, Light Yagami is him. Light is him. He himself is above everybody else and there's no one who can top him. He's been the smartest in his class since he can remember. He's been the smartest in Japan for years and years and years. But yet that's not enough for Light. Having that much success and having that much brain power isn't enough for him. It's not a challenge anymore. So it bores him. And probably asking yourself, how can you be bored with success? And I feel like I have the answer for you. You feel like you get to a point to where you win so much to where nothing is a challenge anymore. Nothing gives you the excitement and the thrill of, of competition and challenges. The feeling of having someone who can actually rival. What does Light do? He starts murdering people. But he doesn't just murder ordinary people. He doesn't just go on this crazed serial killer spree or anything like that. He murders people that he feels like is below him. He murders people that he feels like deserves it in his eyes. People that aren't providing enough to society in his eyes. People that are making the world corrupt. And he wants to be the person to clean up the world, to make the world not corrupt, to end all crimes. Because those who commit crimes and those who don't provide enough to the world in his eyes are below. If there's anybody that has main character syndrome, Light Yagami would be the picture when you Google main character syndrome. Light Yagami has main character syndrome so bad that he thinks that it's a good thing. Light thinks that him being above everybody else is what the world is supposed to be. Because he's so smart and knows so much about the world that he's the only one who can clean up the world. He's the only one who can be able to fix the world and make the world a better place and make it so that the world isn't so corrupt. Make sure that the world isn't so dirty and unsafe for people who are the good citizens, who provide enough for society. And in a way, this is Light taking revenge to the world for being so corrupt and being so hateful to each other and being so dirty to the point to where people just feel like they can do what they want. Wars happen, crime happens all the time. It feels like no one else really cares about it but Light. And it seems like no one else can fix it but Light. But Light also has a lot in common with another anime character that also suffers from main character syndrome and also suffers from the cycle of revenge while not giving a fuck at the same time. Afro Samurai and Light Yagami are basically the same person. Now hold up, put your pitchforks down, put them down before y'all start yelling at me in the comments. Let me explain. Light Yagami and Afro Samurai both suffer from not giving a fuck about the cycle of revenge and pain. Unironically, Light Yagami and Afro Samurai both have similar goals. In their own kind of weird and twisted way, they both want revenge for being wronged. They both want revenge basically. But in the way that Afro wants revenge for his fallen father, no matter how much violence or people he has to kill to get that, he doesn't care. Light wants to clean up the world and make the world a better place to create a new world without crime, without corruption, without war. No matter what it takes, no matter how many people's name he has to write in the death note. They don't care how much pain it causes people around them. Even the people that they somewhat care about, they don't care. Afro doesn't care that as long as the headbands exist, the more people will compete for him and the more people will die. He doesn't care. But Afro is a hero, right? And you would be right in thinking that Afro is a hero. But in the same token, he's not. Afro hurt more people or just as many people as Light did. But with Afro, it's justified because of what happened to his father, and he doesn't hurt quote unquote innocent people, but he does. Everybody around him that wants the number 1 and number 2 headband has to suffer because he wanted revenge. Everybody in the little area that he's in, and possibly the world if more people find out about the headband, have to suffer because he just wants the number 1 headband and wants revenge for his father. He doesn't care if other people compete for the number 2 headband and cover him later in life. He doesn't care about that. He just wants revenge on justice. Light doesn't care how many criminals he has to kill because they already made a bad decision to be criminals, so they don't deserve to live. They don't contribute enough to society, so they don't deserve to live in Light's world. In Afro's world, if you were part of the plot to kill his father and you get in his way with number 1 headband, he doesn't care to kill you. He doesn't care about killing you. He doesn't care who he has to hurt. Hell, Afro killed his own master. Light killed his own father. Also was contemplating killing his own sister so that his identity wouldn't be revealed. This all sounds a little selfish. Now, if I told you that Light Yagami was one of the most selfish protagonists, well, villains in an anime, would you believe me? You probably looking at the screen saying, what the fuck is this dude talking about? But like I said with the Afro take, let me finish. Light Yagami is the most selfish villain that I've seen in an anime, because yes, we've seen villains do downright dirty things to themselves, them families, and not think twice about it. Murder people, murder countless heroes, do everything up under the sun, just so they can say, I won, and that I rule the world. But isn't that what Light wants? Light wants the same thing. He doesn't have superpowers, doesn't have any super technology or anything like that. All he has is his mind, his conscious mind. Now with most superheroes, they're either blinded by a blind rage or with a motive just to rule the world. But with Light made every conscious decision by writing down the name of each and every person that he had to kill. No matter what. No matter if it was his family, no matter if it was his friends, he didn't care. Light got to the point to where he thought that he was going to be discovered and contemplating writing his own sister's name in the death note when he didn't have to. Light also did not have to string along 2 other random women in his little plan just so he could get what he wanted. Like I said before, Light Yagami is the most selfish villain that I've seen in a minute. And I know that, the 2 women that he was stringing along weren't really the smartest of the bunch. Small little side ram, Stan Misami, she's the most annoying side character I've seen in a fucking minute. I hate her. But back to what I was saying. Light being as selfish as he is, and I say that he's the most selfish because of how conscious he was of everything that he did. Could you imagine having to write down the name of each and every person that you wanted dead and the way that they had to die over the course of what? About 5-7 years through high school and through college. Light had to write down each and every name of the person he wanted dead. Had to know the first and last name and had to see their face. Now Light tried to justify this by doing criminals, and I think we all IRL would try to justify it by saying, oh, but they were criminals, they weren't doing anything for society anyways. But after all the criminals are gone, who's the bad person? No matter how many times Light tried to point the finger at other people, no matter how many times he tried to point the finger at the task force, criminals, corruption, or war, 4 fingers were pointing right back at the real villain of the entire show.
This is my perfect victory! That's right! I win!
Light lost. Light didn't win anything. He never won anything. He never won anything throughout the entire show. You cannot convince me that Light beat anybody. Beat any of the detectives. He never beat L. And he for damn sure didn't beat Near. The only thing that Light did, I'm not gonna say plot armor, but Light definitely lucked out by having Misami. Light lucked out by having help. Cause if you really think about it, it took Light 2 other assailants, fucking a whole Shinigami, just to beat one person. One person. The moment they got L on that task force, Light couldn't do shit against L, and he knew it. The moment that he found out that L was smarter than him, and that L basically wouldn't take none of his shit, and basically knew that he was Kira the entire time, just didn't have the concrete evidence to prove that he actually was Kira. Light knew that he lost, so he had to get even more help. You heard Light throughout the show a lot say, I won, I won, I won. This is my victory. But he never won anything. Light never beat anybody. He never beat L. The only people you can say that he beat was the task force. And plus, to be honest, and let's just be honest, the task force was stupid. Just like his naive ass family, the task force wasn't who Light was trying to be. Light was trying to beat L. And in the end, he never beat L. L knew the entire time. He just needed concrete evidence. And the only way Light was escaping from the only way Light escaped from having the only way that Light escaped L, and the only way L didn't have concrete evidence against Light was because of Misami. Once Light started getting his little minions and mini-me's to do the dirty work for him so that he could act all innocent and try to fool everybody saying, look guys, I'm not Kira. He lost because L knew that he was Kira. Nier knew that he was Kira. The only people that didn't know that he was Kira was the naive ass task force and his dumb ass dad. Because one moment your son is basically the world's greatest detective alongside L, and then magically out of nowhere he acts all innocent, and now you're like, oh, he can't possibly be Kira. L didn't fall for that shit. Neither did I. Nier didn't fall for that shit. Light never won anything. Even after L's death, Light never won. L won the moment that he got on the case. The moment that he met Light in person, he knew he was Kira. He just had to find a concrete evidence to prove it. Light never won anything, which is why he tried so hard to beat L. It was the first competition of the minds that he had felt in forever. Because no one at his school could compete with him. No one at his school could outwit him or out-debate him. But the moment that he thought that he found his match, he lost. He didn't win anything. Ultimately, Light Yagami is a failure. A pathetic failure at that. He'll ever be known as a failure and nothing else, really, to be honest with you. Because every other accomplishment that he had, he didn't really like that much. He didn't really appreciate it for what it was at the time. He didn't appreciate that him being as smart as he was, he could have did great things. Could he have made a new world? Nah, nobody really could do that. But Light got bold. A bit too bold. Light got bold in the sense that he thought that he could change the world by force and change the way that people act by force. No matter which way you spin it, Light was never gonna change the world, and neither was any of his little disciples. Light wasn't gonna change the world. Mikami wasn't gonna change the world. He failed, and he's always been a failure. He's gonna be remembered as a failure.